Yeah, it's Admiral back here with two Destinies. If everyone will give a round of applause, please, for this brilliant and wonderful and delightful game. That's enough. Stop applauding. For the love of Christ. We're hopefully rather near the end of Day 1's investigation section for Episode 2, Monstrous Turnabout. And we're supposedly going to go have a look for a Florent or Florent, I'm not sure how to say the name, Lebel. However, thus far, they have only alluded to him with mysterious silhouettes like this, so it kind of seems like we're maybe not going to actually meet him face to face, doesn't it? My god, you've got a colossal neck. Okay, it looks stupid now, but see with the way the hair goes, the wavy outs, and they have the big chins, you could say, I feel like I could be forgiven. Never mind. So we're going to hopefully meet this individual, but I get the sense he's not going to show up. But ideally we get into trial section today because I've been itching to do one. There's no one here. Guess our luck isn't so good when it comes to Mr. LaBelle. Maybe he's out for a walk or something? Somebody left something on the sill of the caretaker's office window. Oh, it's a TV program guide. 3 o'clock, Tematown Pro Wrestling, Howlin' Wolf versus Pretty Boy Vampire, blow-by-blow commentary by Pt.8. Oh, it's gonna zoom in on it, wow. Hang on, sorry, I have to look at the- shit, I was trying to stop that text from- so I could look at the whole thing. Looks like someone circled a pro wrestling match- sorry, that was Athena. Looks like someone circled a pro wrestling match. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Nah, Mr. Filch, what can we do for you? I bet she was gonna scream monster, which really isn't much of a stretch. Nothing I need to do for me, but what business do you got with my TV listings? Oh no, it just caught my eye. Can I ask if you watched this pro wrestling program today? Yep, it was a match between a couple of rank amateurs though. It was a complete disaster. I reckon even I could have done better than that. I seriously doubt that. TV listings added to the court record. Do you mind if I just take like several different photographs of this? It might be useful in court, no one knows. Sorry, I did want to look more closely at that. I want to see what the other ones are. I married a yokai, I guess. Repeat. Episode 8. Wait, you're not a human? Starring someone and Willie Wait. The veil. Oh my god, this would have been amazing to localize. Some things of the brain really use only something % of their brain, I guess. Peekaboo, I found you, yokai of the Amazon. Join the hunt for Tofu Tato. A high-protein yokai fights cancer disease. Almost forgot, there's something I wanted to ask him. Mr. Filch, did you see anything unusual around the time of the murder? For example, Tematoto or something like that? Yeah. Tematoto. Is he a local, actually? I guess because he would not want to say if he saw, right? That would be a thing. I don't think we know, but presumably. Oh, no, yeah, no, he is superstitious about all this stuff. No, right, okay. Tematoto. So you did see him. Yeah. My, how clean and shiny your forehead is today, Mr. Lawyer, sir. I bet you shine it up every day real pretty like. The ladies must love it. Don't change the subject. And FYI, that was a seriously bad attempt at flattery. Jinxie said she saw Tematoto flee toward the foyer. So you must have seen him too if you were here. Yeah. Wow, I really pushed a button there. Well, did you see anything or not? Hold it. Oh, we are going to meet LaBelle face to face. That is quite enough. I must ask that you not pester my friend anymore. This is bad too, because these two are each other's alibis. Yeah, forgive me for being pestered, sir. And you are? I am Florent LaBelle. Beau Divine and personal aide to Mayor Damien Denma. Beau Divine? More like yokai grotesque. This place is crawling with monsters. Oh, excuse you. What the heck was that for? It was this little cologne. You had a look of stinky sweat about you. It's from my own original brand of cosmetics called Je suis LaBelle. I thought just a moment ago you were Le Beau. Oh, what a heavenly scent. Ugh, I think you just paralyzed my olfactory receptors. I suppose a scent would be difficult for a peasant to appreciate. I'll have you know, that is brand number 5. Bonjour. It's my way of introducing myself. Enjoy. Where's my bottle of adieu so I can return the favor? Enough about the cologne. Please tell us what you saw around the time of the murder. Oh, he's actually gonna parlay with us. I killed him. Let's just try presenting everything. For the lols and such. Yes? Do you always go around sticking your hand in other people's faces? Oh, no, I just wanted to show you this. Ah, yes. You do have something in that grimy paw of yours, but I only have eyes for things of beauty. No, if you would excuse me. Guess he'll only look at stuff that interests him. Much like basically every character in this game. Yes, that's a warding charm, but why are you showing it to me? Guess it doesn't work on all monsters. Shame on you, thinking that would work on me.
Just stop with the...
You should be honored to be bathed in my beautiful scent, peasant. Now I really wish it would work. But like I said before, it's kind of interesting in this game because well, actually, no, maybe I'm thinking about it, but I think most of the other games, they didn't always immediately show you who the murderer was for every case. So far in this game, both cases have shown us the murderer off the bat. How does a statue not qualify as a thing of beauty? The amazing Ninetales. What's so amazing about him? I mean, my glossies are selling way better than his. You sell glossies of yourself? That's right. I have one for all 7 of my hair colors. Well, I guess that's it. Civilization over. If you want one, you need simply ask. I'll even let you choose the color yourself.
No, thank you.
Civilization over. Perfect. Well, it was worth showing him that, if nothing else. Keeping Jinxie quiet. Must ask you about this. I heard you're the one who told Jinxie not to mention that she saw Temataro. Oh, also, God, that noise is gonna distract the shit out of me. Oh, I was gonna keep doing it. Hang on a sec. Why, the little... So she told you she saw the demon, did she? There we go. I need that noise to stop. They brought a lot of attention to the fact that you could hear stuff through the air vents, besides just being a potential means of ingress into the room. So it made me wonder if they also brought attention to Jinxie hearing a noise and seeing Temataro carry away a staff-like implement. Staff-like implement could be a spear, I suppose, so maybe the spear that's in his body isn't the actual murder weapon, and it was placed there after for one reason or another. Like, she might have seen a staff and it was actually the spear, that the actual murder weapon. And the jingling, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with anything. I mean, I'm sure it does, but I don't know what it has to do with anything yet, but they called attention to the fact that you could hear things through the vent, even if the door, well, regardless of the door was open or closed, so perhaps she heard jangling coming from the room, because they said they said sound might be carried on the wind, so to speak, through the air vent. So if the window was open at the time, which we know it had to have been at some point, because there was the fur wedged in it that would know the mask should have been at the scene of the crime during the murder, and then the mask was thrown out the window. So the window was open enough for a point to where wind could have come up through it and then through the vent and carried sound out into the hallway. Anyway, just these are things we should be thinking about, I feel.
Mr. LaBelle, do you mind if I ask whether you believe in the village superstitions?
Oh, please! I was merely trying to keep with traditions. Nevertheless, I will say this. I wouldn't stick my nose into this whole Temataro business if I were you. Bad things happen to those who do. That much is true. Here's one. Scary monster.
That is crazy! You really expect me to believe that monsters are real?
Well, you're real, and you sure look like a monster.
Look who's talking. So, Mr. LaBelle, you didn't see Temataro?
Ah!
Little Jinxie has an active imagination. Isn't that right, Phineas?
Oh, that's right. I didn't see nothing, especially not Temataro.
As for me, I only see things of beauty. That's why I can barely see you.
I've got 2 words for this guy. Total freak. Alright, genius, what's your alibi? Oh, let me guess, you were with Phineas Filch. Could I ask you what you were doing at the time of the crime?
In other words, you'd like to hear my alibi. To think you'd suspect me, of all people.
Oh, no, it's just a formality. We ask everyone the same
question. How dare you doubt me? That's an affront to beauty itself. Anyone get, like, a bit of Oliver vibes from this dude? As in Duke Tanis? Even the music and everything? You obviously can't see straight.
Like that spritz really helped.
What were we doing, you ask? Go ahead, Filchy, answer the question. at the time of the crime, we were, in this here foyer.
Exactly.
Good answer, Filchy. Good answer. Just repeating what you told. Ouch!
You said quite enough. What is with these two? Ah, great, now he's got me talking like that.
Are we quite through here? I'm a very busy man, you know.
Right, well, thanks for your help. So these two were in the foyer, but didn't see Temotaro.
Come along, Filchy. Where are we going? Oh, all right, I gotta practice them statements for tomorrow. Yipes! My eyes! You're going to dig your own grave with that big mouth of yours someday.
What does he mean, practice statements?
Now, if you would excuse me, it's time to touch up my makeup. I should say so.
Apollo, I know this sounds strange, but Mr. LaBelle seems unusually preoccupied with Temotaro.
I tend to agree.
Really? How can you tell?
Well, it was something about the fact that he, a non-superstitious person, threatened a child over it, but I don't know.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. You see, I can read people's emotions from the tone of their voice. You mean you have...
Oh, right, he doesn't know about that yet.
You mean you have good ears?
Something like that.
People's emotions are expressed in the tone of their voice. And my ears can pick up on even the subtlest of tones for some reason. That's an interesting skill. But what do you mean he's preoccupied with Temotaro? I'm not exactly sure, but it was like he was obsessed with the thought of Temotaro. That's what I picked up from his voice, anyway. Everywhere we turn, it's Temotaro this, Temotaro that. We should go talk to the mayor, too. Sounds like a plan. We need to get to the bottom of that rumor about him wanting to release Temotaro.
In the detention center, let's hope that he's available for questioning at the moment. April 17th, detention center, visitor's room.
Something wrong, Apollo? Where'd your enthusiasm go? What am I doing asking the mayor if he has ever thought about releasing Temotaro? At best, he'll think I'm an idiot. At worst...
Oh, he's here!
Uh-oh.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I'm Mr. Justice's partner, Athena Sykes.
I'm looking forward to working with you, Mr. Temma.
Taro?
Oh, yes. I look forward to working with you, too.
Glad you didn't mind Athena calling him by a completely wrong name.
Apollo, he's just as kind and gentle looking as I imagined.
Lucky for you after that blunder you just made. There was something I wanted to talk to you about. There are rumors going around about how you want to, or did, set Temotaro free.
What? Utter nonsense!
Yikes!
They always assume the worst of me because of the way I look. But those rumors don't have a shred of truth, I tell you.
A little touchy about his appearance, isn't he? What he really needs to work on are his people skills.
It's gonna show all the evidence we have now in case anything's different. I think it's probably gonna be the same stuff.
Which ones did we pick up upon investigation?
Well, I won't show him any of that stuff now. Let's just have a chat. Temotaro's revival.
So rumor has it that you want to push the merger through in order to release Temotaro. Of course, that's a bunch of baloney, isn't it? Sorry. I'm sorry if I offended you.
So that's the talk around town, is it?
I can see how that would make you angry.
What if Jinxie's schoolmates start teasing her about this?
Huh?
I must break out of here at once. Her tormentors must be taught a lesson.
No, wait. First we have to get you a not guilty verdict.
Don't try to stop me. This is about a father's duty to his darling daughter. Hold tight, sweet Jinxie. Daddy's coming to save you.
Relax. I'll look out for your daughter until we can get you free.
Is that so? You don't need me to go straighten things out myself.
Oh boy. They'd probably call in the SWAT team if he showed up at her school. Oh, right. I ought to ask about the reason behind the merger.
Why the merger?
It seems like you were rather forceful when pushing for the municipal merger. Did you really want Ninetales Vale that badly?
Yes, well, it's quite an attractive prize in terms of tourism.
Wait. Am I feeling what I think I'm feeling? Your bracelet?
Sure, I played a bit of hardball, but only when I deemed it necessary.
I knew it. My bracelet's reacting. Can I find his tell here? Or, well, is there too much glass between us? What is it, Apollo? Mayor Timon may not be telling the whole truth. Really? How can you tell? People invariably tense up when they lie. That's where my bracelet here comes in. I can sense when the person I'm talking to is feeling tense, because it begins to feel tight on my arm. No way! You could do that? Wait, so you believe me? Just like that? Sure. Each of us has our own special gifts. No, yeah, Athena has a gift too, her special sense of hearing. Still, what do you think the mayor is lying about? I don't know, but it's our job to find out. Well, it's, I presume, the reason behind the merger, but I also don't assume that he's actually in favor of releasing the monster or anything. It's been a while since my bracelet last reacted like this. Let's see if I still remember how to do this. Yep, okay, let's do it. Oh, it's just, yeah, they kept it. Is it gonna do the same theme? Yes! Oh, that's so cool. It's especially cool because that's not the cross-examination theme in this game. Well, unless maybe it is when you're playing as Apollo. Yes! I remember this feeling of intense concentration. Apollo, your eyes are doing a weird thing. Cut that out, it's creeping me out. The ability to see the smallest twitch, the slightest frown that no one else can see. Now, Mayor Timon was lying somewhere in that statement he just made, and when he lied, a certain habit made itself clear just under his right eye. Damn it. I just have to shift my viewpoint up and down and focus on an area. Damn it, I wish they'd let me find it. Oh god, yeah, it's some kind of twitch. Alright, I've got him now. His stick should appear when he's trying to pull the wool over my eyes. I gotta pour over every word he says and wait for his stick to appear. And when it does, I'll perceive it. Yes, well, so it's gonna be the tourism, that's the lie here. He's just, I like how he's moving his mouth for each letter. INTERMS. Gotcha! Mr. Mayor, please, can you trust us with the truth? You can trust us with the truth.
The truth? I don't understand.
When you mentioned tourism, the bottom of your right eye started twitching.
What nonsense is this? So what if it did?
Please, tell us more about your merger bid.
What more is there to tell?
Why were you really seeking to merge with Ninetales Vale?
I already told you, tourism. The monster craze really revitalized the village, making it quite the prize.
Keep saying prize, that's weird. You really don't trust us, do you?
What are you talking about? The village has been our property ever since the monster craze started, has it not?
I think you've yet to realize that what you're saying contradicts the facts. You say that the monster craze really revitalized Ninetales Vale, so you felt it would be an attractive prize for its tourism, but that would contradict this. Oh, wait. No, I'm not sure what he's talking about. I think... Well, I think what they're maybe getting at is that he's not fond of Wrestly Boy over here. Ah! The monster craze in Ninetales Vale is a very recent phenomenon. It was sparked when the amazing Ninetales rose up against the municipal merger. Oh, right, of course. No, sorry, I did kind of forget that was... I thought it might have been about the order of things. I knew it had to do with the wrestler, but I wasn't sure why. Okay, no, that makes sense, right. The monster craze was started because of Dude Man who rose up against the municipal merger. That is absolutely true. The village was practically a ghost town before then. So you see, you couldn't possibly have seen it as an attractive prize for its tourism. What's the real reason behind your push to merge Town with Ninetales Vale, huh?
Well,
Did we did it? Has it been did? Why the merger? Are you ready to tell me the truth now?
Honestly, I never wanted to pursue the merger in the first place. But I had no choice if I wanted to protect my darling little Jinxie.
I thought it would have something to do with her, but I couldn't figure out how. I mean, basically everything with him has to do with her somehow. Protect her from what?
I received a threat. It said either I go through with the merger, or my Jinxie dies.
What? How awful. Who would do such a thing?
I don't know. But whoever blackmailed me must be connected to the murder.
So, LaBelle, most likely. It would have to be someone close to him to know how much he prizes, or how close he is with his daughter. I mean, I guess you could just guess. Wait, so you think the blackmailer and the killer could be one of the same?
Alderman Cuby was immensely popular, so you have to ask, who would want him dead? The blackmailer who wanted the murder at all costs had all the motive in the world.
Because he was the one fighting against it most strongly? But why go from blackmail to murder? The murder protest won't disappear just because the alderman was killed. Could it be? What if there was another reason for the murder? Like what? Maybe the blackmailer discovered Alderman Cuby's secret identity, and his secret identity was a threat to the blackmailer's murder scheme because he's the wrestler. Sorry, I'm not explaining this very well. What does secret identities have to do with anything, Apollo? I have evidence revealing the alderman's secret identity. Maybe it's time to use it. Is it possible, perhaps, that this thing with this hair in it was the alderman's? Mayor Temma, please take a look at this, if you would.
That's the amazing Ninetails' mask. What is the meaning of this?
This mask was almost definitely at the crime scene. And there was some white hair inside.
White hair, you say?
There was but one person with white hair in the manor that day.
What are you saying?
You know which man I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about Rex Cuby, the amazing Ninetails himself.
No way!
The alderman was impossible.
Wait, come to think of it, Alderman Cuby was a former pro wrestler. We saw like 16,000 trophies in that room. So the blackmailer turned killer when he discovered the alderman's secret identity. Didn't I just say that? But yeah, the amazing Ninetails was a threat to the blackmailer's scheme. He opposed the murder and as a result single-handedly sparked the monster craze. Even so, what was the mask doing at the crime scene? There had been an event at the manor, and maybe Alderman Cuby had taken part in it, if you get my drift.
This is absurd.
Mr. Mayor, do you have proof of the threat that was made against you?
Yes, a blackmail letter. Unfortunately, it disappeared after the murder. I'd been carrying it around in my briefcase, but now it's suddenly vanished.
The blackmailer must have taken it with them after they killed the alderman. Well, at least we've clearly established the killer's motive. Well, as far as we know. With this attorney, it could always be something entirely different by the end. Mayor Temma, visiting hours are over.
It would appear this meeting is adjourned.
Sorry about that. We actually got some decent information out of him, though. That's very, very, very useful stuff. Apollo, do you really think the Temma Tata that Jinxie saw is the killer? I don't know. All I know is there's no such thing as monsters. What about that newspaper article? Could the killer purposely free Temitaro to do their dirty work? Oh, come on! There wasn't any Temitaro? That's his name. There wasn't any Temitaro to raise in the first place. Yes, but the only suspect the police have right now are the mayor and a yokai. We'll probably be arguing whether there was a yokai involved in court tomorrow. I can already see that look of disbelief on the judge's face. Well, I mean, we already know that the alderman was the secret identity of the nine-tailed fox fighting, but there was obviously someone else in a mascot costume there. No one else believes that that was the actual monster. Well, I mean, the people of the village might, but we saw a Temitaro with our own eyes. We, Apollo. So clearly there was someone in a costume, and in that case, it's the only two suspects are the mayor and someone wearing a yokai costume. So it's not that outlandish, but... Apollo? You alright? I'm fine. I'll think of something. I better, because I can't very well say a flying demon was the killer. At this point, the only thing I know for sure is tomorrow's gonna be one doozy of a trial. And we get to finally start it! Yee-hee-hee! I'm ready for my first cross-examination. I'm ready, I am prepared, I am so delighted that it is presently happening. I might have to record double today just because I'm so hyped to do a whole bunch of this trial. As in record this and then another episode after. April 18th, 9:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. I'm just excited. This is my first real court case after all. Yeah, a real ball of excitement she is. I know just what she needs. Athena! Didn't you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting, "I'm fine," in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Cords of Steel workout, and it must before every trial. You want me to shout? Here? That's right. Here, I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine! Alright. I'm Athena Sykes, and I'm fine. I think it actually worked. I thought it might help. Always works for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. I see. Proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. An old friend from junior high. I'm not sure who he's referring to. Is that a character we haven't met? Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? The point is to relieve stress, not to get totally exhausted. You didn't even try your idea, Apollo. Where's the team spirit? What's with all the racket, you two? Ah, Mr. Wright. Just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back, that's all. I was just thinking about it. It's not a big deal. I figured I'd just start wearing the suit. That's all? That's huge news! But why now? I have a feeling I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon. But we can talk about that another time. No fair. Inquiring minds want to know. But wow. I'm so used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. Well, I trust me, Apollo, I am not, so this works better for me. That suit makes him look like $1 million. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? Yeah, he's serving time, but before that he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology. That's right, I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he can make even the most stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom. Been hearing a lot about that lately. So he must be a pretty scary guy considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. I knew he was going to be bad news. It's probably just hyperbole. At least I hope, for your sake. Wait, so is it true or not? Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours. Attached to the rest of your body, that is. Yikes! Better tone down my cords of steel too. So are you all ready? It might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Right, Mr. Wright, but I'm fine. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks. I like that Apollo's kind of, because like when he first met him, he was like starstruck and he was like, oh my god, it's him. And then when he learned what he did, he was all like, I hate him, he's the worst. And so now he's kind of balanced it back out a bit. And he's sort of back to fanboying a little, which is really, really funny. Okay, let's do this. The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our client, seek the truth. That's all we can do. Hang in there, Martemma. Here comes justice. And Sykes, but that doesn't really work as a saying. Sorry. April 18th, 9:30 a.m. We spent a whole 15 minutes out there shooting the shit. District Court, courtroom number 4. I am truly profoundly nervous, considering last time. Day 1. Court is now in session. All rise. Unless you're recording, in which case you will break your microphone. Don't do that.
Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. I hit the history button. God damn it. First thing of the trial night. Damn it.
Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor.
I'd know that big booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who's the young lady next to you?
I'm Athena Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner, and fresh out of law school.
Well now, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again.
Not sure that's an expression I'm familiar with.
Now for the prosecution. It appears the prosecution is not ready yet.
Never fear, for I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak.
Prison? Oh, yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time.
Oh dear, here we go.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackquill's an inmate.
Who's that speaking? He looks like he's from Genealogy of the Holy War, with that floof hair. Oh! That's certainly a large pool of blood that we've seen something not dissimilar from before.
Murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
Delayed reaction much? Why do you get to wear that in prison? That's way too cool looking. Well, nice to meet you. No way this man walked up to the stand and then turned around to be dramatic. I don't even know what kind of voice this guy would have. Look at the freaking feather on the back of his jacket, too. How any of this? His hair is also immaculate for having been in prison just now. Who is that with his back to us over there? That's him. I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackquill.
Is the prosecution ready?
So hang on a minute. So that man just cut someone in half with a machete or a katana. I wasn't sure what kind of sword it was. And there was a huge pool of blood on the ground, and that's the same pool of blood, or very similar looking pool of blood to the little flashback that Athena had. So perhaps he's not a mentor, but more of a... The murder he committed was someone related to Athena? No idea. Or maybe both.
I've got the hiccups. Is the prosecution ready?
Enough jabbering. Get on with it already.
Sorry, of course, forgive me.
Why are all the people related to this case so scary?
Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell. Prosecutor Blackwell.
What's the matter? Your opening statement, that's what he was asking before. Must we continue to fritter away time like this? It is all right there in the indictment. An opening statement would be pointless.
Pointless? Pointless? Well...
It looks like the cat, or in this case the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue.
But we need an opening statement as an overview of the case at hand.
Well then, your baldness, if it's so very important, why don't you do the honors?
Who, me?
There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things, and then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. Selfish old fool.
Huh? Hiccups, damn it!
Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement? Old dotards such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren? This guy does not pull punches. What the hell?
All these years, I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. Might be a nice change of pace.
What? Did he actually fall for that? That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about. It was hardly suggestion, it was like a threat and an insult. God damn, Hiccups, this is driving me bazonkers. Not when there's a cool character intro game. Or Hiccups, Body, whichever one I'm accusing for my hiccups.
The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one Rex Cuby, alderman of the Nine Tails Vale. And the defendant, Damien Tenma, mayor of Tenma Town, is accused of his murder.
And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested?
His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal merger. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive.
So, in a nutshell,
I have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible.
Bravo, your baldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
He's playing Simon Says with the judge.
Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright.
Oh boy. I can tell how many people in this courtroom are on our side.
Witness, please state your name and occupation. I know I already introduced you as a detective and I said your name, but...
I am the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackquill here.
I also heard you would provide protection if it ever came to that.
It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even old Blackquill here. Fulbright, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. That's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return.
to society. I will never give up on you. Prosecutor Blackquill doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackquill. He's so oblivious.
Now, let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright.
You got it. But first, I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. That was not necessary for you to say, but I appreciate it anyway.
About the murder.
Alderman QB was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Temma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman QB was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Temma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. What? Oh, sorry. Alderman QB was asleep from a drug he unwittingly. I thought you said Damien was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested, and I was like, yeah, that tracks. But then he was like, hey, he stabbed him. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Oh, that's why you suppose the blood got there? Alderman QB had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug? That's right. The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. What I want to know is, did they prove that he was drugged, or is that just a theory? Because if you proved it, then presumably you found traces of something in whatever they were drinking, in which case it might be possible to prove that Temma was slipped something as well. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Oh, yes, please. QB's autopsy report. Added to the court record, friggin' hiccups.
And the victim managed to attack his attacker despite being impaled by a spear. That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible?
Well, he was a former pro wrestler, after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him. It killed him. Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear?
Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink.
I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched.
Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade.
I didn't sign up for this.
Ah.
And so your life is spared. For now.
Please, let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die.
My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. Oh dear.
The accused prints were on the weapon, and he is the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence. Wouldn't you agree, Your Baldness? The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute.
He has the judge leaning toward a guilty verdict, and the trial's just barely begun. They also didn't even let me cross-examine yet, which is a bunch of garbage. Why are you making judgments yet?
What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds.
I presume you refer to the Temataro thing, about him releasing that.
They say he seeks the merger for the purpose of freeing Tenmataro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards burg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman.
That mayor's a strange one, all right.
I heard he went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal.
What?
Order! There will be no gossiping in my court! Your Baldness, please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenmataro. Then again...
What are you suggestionifying here?
Perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold, the lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment.
Yeah, that's a bunch of garbage. Stop that. What happened to no gossiping? The rumors and quirks of Mayor Temma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement. I think.
Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they?
The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud.
What a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here.
Whew. Thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. Don't worry about the sword. That's garbage. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news.
In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself, despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker?
Did you not say the statue already? None other than this statue right here.
It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. Two yokai, to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox, and on the other, Tenmataro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered in art.
So what you mean to say is that Damien Tenma is the one we'd normally think of as Tenmataro, but since there were feathers fleeing the scene of the crime, it couldn't possibly have been him who killed the Alderman. Well done, Blackquill. I agree wholeheartedly. Anyway, Fox and Demon statue updated in the court record. The mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted. So there were prints on the spear, but not... no prints could be lifted from the Alderman. Well, why? That's very concerning.
Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
About time. I want to at least get through one cross-examination today. I'm also going a bit over time, but... God, it's been so long. About the murder. All right, let's see this. I need a minute to read it all. It's also worth noting that I don't remember there being... I mean, I guess we don't really have any photo evidence of this. I don't remember there being an empty hook on the wall where we could have found that spear. Best scene of the crime... best photo of the scene is this one here. Right. I mean, it seems pretty weird that... I mean, I guess if you were stabbed here and you grabbed a statue and bonked someone with it... And how would the statue end up beside this chair? That doesn't make any sense. That's very far away. Alderman Kibi was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Kibi was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Let's just see what Athena has to say about this. Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so confident. No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the Alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. Well, that's what I'm saying, is that... I mean, even if we're to suppose... The spear has been tended at around 30:20 p.m. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. I guess you could be jolted awake from a drug-induced slumber. I mean, I suppose it depends on how powerful the sedative was, right? Whatever the drug was. Yeah, maybe what they want me to get at is just that there are no prints on it. I'll give that a try, but I probably really should be pushing more on this. But I'm gonna go with my gut on this one, because Dewman wasn't wearing gloves, so why would there be no prints? And how did the statue end up there? Like, this is the most weird part about that. Objection! Did the Alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? No, your sense of logic. Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the Alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him, but the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory.
It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective statue theory.
There are no QB fought unarmed. Well, I mean, I guess that you could say that. He fought unarmed, so why would he pick up something? Well, I mean, it's hard to punch someone while you're lying down, I guess. Swinging something heavy. Yeah, their fingerprints is the weird thing anyway. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you can't see the statue here, so where did it fall? Oh, never mind. Sorry, the gloves is more of the important thing. You'll notice the Alderman isn't wearing gloves.
Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed.
If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you?
This can't be happening. Did I arrest the wrong man?
Oh, poor Fulbright. Oh, cool. So it is Apollo's theme from the fourth one. That's cool.
You did it, Apollo!
You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the Alderman? Well, if it wasn't the Alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. That's what I was asking, Apollo. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox chamber? Or maybe not at the precise time. Well, probably at some point. Exactly. And this could be the big break we've been looking for. I'm sure Blackwell's been eerily silent here. I'm sure he's about to pull some reason as to why his prints wouldn't be on it.
There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackquill, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion?
The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive.
Her mind is as dull as an unhoned blade. Justice, I don't know what that suffix means.
Justice, don't know? He's been watching too many samurai flicks.
It'll take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackquill.
I'm not trying to cut you down, I'm just trying to stop Meritema from being—
A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship.
This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackquill.
There's a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue.
You're gonna say they got wiped by something, I guess? Of course he's gonna bring this stupid thing that was stuck to the bottom of the other chair.
You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's.
So, what are you getting at?
Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle, and you shall see that the hole you thought you found is but an illusion.
You're saying the statue was under it, and he picked up it, like, under the cloth, which is why it got his blood all over it, and smacked him with it, and then stuck the cloth to the chair he was on and threw the statue across the room? Is that what you're getting at? Because I don't understand. No, let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used to wrap the statue? Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth? In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor. Then how would the mayor's blood get on it? Oh, I guess if he held it from the bottom or whatever.
Precisely. Bully for you, boy.
It was nothing. Apollo, don't let me start manipulating you too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? Fuck, I did!
Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is as plain as day. But this also proves that there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back.
It ended up very far away. Oops. God. Fox and Demon statue updated in the court record. 2 pages. Ooh, wow. The weapon used to bludgeon the mayor, wrapped in a large cloth.
Now do you see how dull your mind is?
I'll make sure to sharpen it next time.
A particularly frightening inmate once told me that he always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore.
Samurai? It sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me.
Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time.
Oh, I just noticed my hiccups are gone. This is brilliant. Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef?
It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all.
I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say when someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it.
Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please, illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady.
There's only one answer. The real killer.
Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you?
I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks, allegedly from a yokai, were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue.
Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena! You just lost what little credibility we had left. Ah! Sorry. Guess I got carried away.
Mr. Justice, we've no time to deal with objections between the members of the defense.
Sorry, Your Honor. It's just, this kid's still, kid. Ouch. You meanie. I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright.
So is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it?
No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman. Murdered.
Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that?
Well, can we also just acknowledge the fact that there are feathers all over the place, and that doesn't make any sense if you assume that Damien killed him? Why indeed?
Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is.
Ouch! This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright.
Oi, fool Bright. Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing.
You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks.
What? You mean you can explain all that? Our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession.
Dear me. I'd love to hear this cross-examination.
Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks. Witness testimony.
Feathers and tracks. Still, of course, way, way weird. I don't want a single one of us to forget how far away that statue is from the alderman. And that it was found upright. Even if you assume it wasn't like solid gold or anything. I defy you find an example of someone who, while stabbed through with a spear, was able to throw something in such a way that the covering of it fell off and behind them, and the statue went across the room and landed upright. That's just absurd.
This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Temma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters, so he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. What? Why would he stay at the scene of the crime? What kind of garbage argument is that? Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears? Absolutely. He knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds.
Those feathers only gave way to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The cursed demon Temmataro, that is.
Tenma who?
Temmataro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon, and thus were they blinded to other, more plausible explanations.
Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect?
Mr. Justice, please explain yourself.
On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at QB Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Thank God Apollo has finally, someone brought it. I thought I genuinely was like, like going absolutely mental here because no one was saying that. There was someone dressed like the freaking monster that those feathers are meant to resemble. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Temmataro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games.
What?
Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murder to be the work of the real Temmataro. However, the police believe that the person in the Temmataro suit is the killer. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman. And that's what they're saying. That's why he would still be there. And thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Wait, but do you honestly believe Mayor Temma would do something so stupid?
The evidence speaks for itself. Fulbright.
You're right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice.
But do the people of Ninetales Vale really believe a yokai is behind the crime?
Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds.
Just so. A particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey.
You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist?
No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap.
Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Oh dear.
Yes, well, now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination.
Yes, please. Once again, I didn't spot anything off up front. Feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Temma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters, so he stoked the village's fears by fabricating a monster. Well, no, the Temmataro already existed, right? I guess that's what they're getting at? That's been a tradition for a long, long time, right? I'm not sure which piece of evidence would indicate that. I suppose probably best the scroll,
but I'll push on it first because I'm not super confident about that.
Hold it!
Did the murder and the yokai evidence really stoke the village's fears?
Absolutely! It had an immediate effect! The presumed return of the dreaded Tematato has them shaking in their beats. Their boots. Their Beats AirPods.
The dreaded Tenmatato, so not something fabricated in the past half year, but an ancient demon already known. So fabricated nothing.
Oh my, is it really that bad? That superstitious lot. It's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark a mass exodus. I see. That's a very persuasive argument. Damn it, history button.
Mere thought of His Honor buying into the Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now.
So you see, there can be only one reason why anyone would plant these feathers in tracks.
Okay, I guess they're just saying... Well, the wording is confusing me here. When he's saying fabricating a monster, is he just saying he planted the evidence of Tematato, or is he implying that Dude Man invented Tematato, which is just inaccurate? Let me just push on the other points for a moment, so I can be sure I'm not missing some other glaring contradiction.
Hold it!
Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong?
Oh, absolutely. They parade around in yokai costumes shouting, "Down with Mayor Tenma," and just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tematato, the dark lord of their kind.
Okay, clearly they're not supposing that he invented Tematato, because they're speaking over and over again as though he's a staple here.
Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tematato? I'm confused.
I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy.
Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant will commit such an act?
The trick is sometimes you push too much and you get too much information and you lead yourself the wrong way. He panicked when the Amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters.
Hold it!
The Amazing Ninetales, no one knows his true identity, right?
That's right. And he was a lone wolf, or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma wrestler after another, and before anyone knew it, he was the champion. Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. It was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Pro Wrestling. He was amazing! If ever there was a real superhero, it would be him. I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday.
I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackquill. A police detective and a prisoner in chains? You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would.
So you do understand the greatness that is the Amazing Ninetales?
Very good. And final point. Also, I don't think I heard what Athena had to say here, did I? Or the both of them, anyway. Hard to believe that a stiff, humorless man like the mayor could be behind such a stunt. We have to do something, Apollo, before they pin it all on the mayor. Then we're going to need to prove that Mayor Tenma didn't plant the yokai stuff. How are we supposed to do that? That's another interesting angle. I didn't really think to try that. But just this last point, let's have a look.
Hold it! But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, then why top it off with murder?
What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman QB?
Excellent point. Brsh.
It is, isn't it? So Your Honor agrees that there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment.
You're saying it wasn't premeditated?
From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery.
Oh, this is new and interesting. A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that? So if it wasn't premeditated, how did he get the friggin' feathers everywhere? Oh, you're saying the murder wasn't premeditated.
Alderman QB's secret identity.
Apollo? I think Prosecutor Blackquill has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? We already know that supposedly Tenma would want to kill the Amazing Ninetales to stop the protesters from having a figure of, like a figurehead. But what he's saying doesn't make any sense to me. He would only plant the feathers if he to make it look like Tematato did a murder if he was going to murder someone. So he obviously knew already that if you're supposing he was going up there to murder Alderman QB, And he already knew it was the Amazing Ninetales, so that's a bunch of garbage. I don't know, it's all weird. Hang on, let me just see where they go with this. I'm doing this thing where I'm twisting it all in my brain. This is not good.
This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the Amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene.
Oh my, but why would it have been there?
You made me turn around to your baldness. The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more?
Well, could it really be?
Your baldness hasn't had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex Cubey, was the Amazing Ninetales, and the mayor's discovery of such was his motive for murder.
No! Why did he bring feathers up there then? Everyone shut up so I can think!
Order! Order! What a shocking development! A motive clearer than crystal clear.
What do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder.
At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Because the wrestlers are secretive? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness?
Oh, I think that's not relevant.
I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona, just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement.
Very astute of you, your baldness. Right, now, take a look at this. If you value your dearest's life, you will merge Ninetales Vale with Town. Do not tell anyone about this threat if you do consider your dearest as good as dead. Uh-oh. It's not signed, or it doesn't use specific nouns. Proper nouns, that is. So the idea we think is that this, or they think is that this was presented to the Alderman. So that's why he presumably had to create the Ninetales persona if he wanted to fight back, according to them. When in reality, it's just because wrestlers are popular, or I assume. This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cubey's pocket.
What?
At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital, and that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life.
Wait, didn't the blackmail letter sent to Mayor Tema go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder? You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it into the Alderman's pocket? It's possible, but we don't have any proof that that's what happened. Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. Blackmail letter added to the court record. Sweet, that's 3 full pages. Hurrah, good for us.
Mayor Tema would have made a clean getaway if he just left after planting the yokai things. But he was knocked out cold by his sudden decision to kill the Amazing Ninetales.
I don't understand.
Oh, no, sorry. They're not saying that he planted the feathers so that people would think it was the Temataro who murdered. They're saying he just planted it generally so that people would be afraid of the monster and stop protesting, I guess. That's what their idea is.
How would he plant them in the chamber where no one else is allowed to go and it's locked then? That's stupid. What the hell?
So it was the Amazing Ninetales' counterattack that brought the entire crime to light.
Wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence. And that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that?
Then how could the footprints be bloody is what you're going to ask, I suppose.
Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony, so I can present the friggin' photograph there, because that's like 3 pounds of metric tons of bullshit.
Kill the sleeper alderman after planting the feathers and tracks.
I think the heck not! Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair.
Dude, what's this? You dare question my justice again?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo.
This is the crime scene photo, and just what does this prove?
It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted.
But I already told you, they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim.
No, that doesn't make a shred of sense. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. And that's after move the hand, please, game. After the deadness.
Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice?
Mm-hmm. Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood and the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder.
Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after the killing the alderman.
You just said he was knocked out. Please, God, work with me here. But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, There must have been someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene.
There must be some mistake.
Yes, you made a mistake. That's what I'm telling you. My God, why won't anyone listen to me today?
Order! Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you?
The photograph with evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness's testimony for you.
You do? But how?
I asked for it.
Oh, was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked?
He's taking this really hard. Yeah, I feel terrible for him right now, honestly.
Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have?
I have it right here, Your Honor. I don't know why I nodded there. That was really weird. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. Here's the source of those feathers and he's the source of those feathers and tracks. Somebody please say something.
The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare to mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy! Your baldness, it appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
I'm not claiming it's an actual monster. Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? I'm talking about the costume, not an actual monster. Before you decide whether I should step down, please hear me out.
Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears. But you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about?
It's all in this statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro after she discovered the crime scene and called the police. She came around a corner in the hall. It was around here that she saw Tenma Taro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise.
What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before?
Because you're on the
defense just proved there was someone else. So the mayor isn't our killer. Was this all a setup? The prosecutor is a convicted felon, after all.
Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor. Good. Now let's keep it that way. No, God, we had like 3 seconds, please. You're really trying to drive my stress levels through the roof, aren't you?
Little do you realize that though you're in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken.
What? My sword? I didn't know I had one to break? Are you implying there's a problem with my claim?
Consider this. What time is it? God, I've been recording for a long time, but I need to go a little bit longer. Sorry, at least let me get to the next cross-examination. This is really heating up in a very, very satisfying way. God, to be able to claim, having 3 pages of evidence just slowly build and finally be able to use it is just like, ugh. The amount of time I spent looking at all of these when we first got them is paying off. It just feels so good. Oh, it's the magic of these games. Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him.
The only explanation is that they lied about seeing them then. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it.
Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time, but they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination?
What about the feathers? Why didn't those two see the Tenma Taro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. Well, please have them testify, because they're obviously bullshitting. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I'd rather not talk to Florent. I just know he must have seen something.
I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Wright's request, Prosecutor Blackquill. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I assume he's stolen most of the jury's wallets, but whatever. Well, there's no jury, but whatever.
It's a joke about his kleptomania. Let me have this one. I'm so tired.
I knew that Tanuki was a rare find, but when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will.
Did he just say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know.
Very well then. Bailiff, please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand.
Seems wide-eyed and awake to me.
Will the witness state his name and occupation, please?
The name's Filch, Phineas Filch, caretaker of Cuban Manor. Oh, and, this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like.
Oh, my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch.
Well, it's those shoes again. Fulbright. You gotta look at your feet once. Actually, I could have sworn he was wearing shoes earlier. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Filch stole them again.
I guess he could have stolen them on the way in here.
They're all yours, your honorship, sir.
What? But they seem awfully expensive.
Yeah, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your honorship.
It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I can't accept such gifts.
Oh, ethics schmethics. Just take them if you want them. Polish them up real nice for you, too.
No. We're literally in a court of law. I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Temataro in the foyer after the murder.
I didn't see nothing.
All right, well, you heard him, Mr. Justice.
Guarding the foyer. The more details you give, the more we get to the truth. Oh my god, that loaded really fast. That was weird.
At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was still in my office, keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m.
I tend to agree. Such a thing did happen after 3 p.m. Although you were you would have been watching this at the time, right? If this was happening at 3? Unless this is a 24-hour clock. No, why would it be at 3 in the morning? That's ridiculous.
But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no sirree.
That's because you were looking at your damn wrestling show.
That yokai you keep jabbering on about was but a phantom of a little girl's dreams.
So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Temataro?
Yep, I was gone the whole time. That's the truth, the holy truth, nothing but nutter butter truth. The nutter butter truth. And Temataro, you don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo jumbo, do you? I certainly don't.
Yeah, I could have figured he was lying about that, even without the bracelet, but because he told us as much, didn't he? My bracelet. It's something the matter, Apollo? My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So you think Mr. Tanuki, Mr. Filch has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. You're scaring them the Luigi death stare there. Did you see that? Oh, if I could just zero in on a tell. Some sort of nervous habit. What's going on? What's a hawk doing in here? Is that Blackwill's? You're telling me he got to have a hawk in prison as well? What kind of prison is this place? Well, I guess Christoph had a pretty ritzy one, too.
Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact.
Wait, how long? What?
He doesn't live with you? You know, in jail?
Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird?
Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard.
This isn't some sort of trick or... You could tell I had a power?
Yeah! I won't be able to spot squat like this. What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills!
No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom.
Somebody help!
Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished.
When was the last time you fed him?
In that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed.
Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. If there was someone dressed as Temataro there, Filch should have seen him, unless he was looking at something else, like the wrestling thing. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Right, so I think what's going on here is we're going to push on one of those points, and then they're going to be like, were you really looking at the stairs around 3 p.m.?
Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination.
So let's zero in on that point first. Let's laser focus on here. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m.
Is that so? Did you really keep an eye on the foyer the entire time? Poor old Filchy. Been working hard my whole life. Only to be smeared by some greenhorn in his fancy suit and silly haircut. Sorry, Mr. Blackquill, sir. Didn't mean to get off subject there. Sheesh. Blackwell didn't even see anything. Oh, to answer your question, yes, I kept an eye. No, both of them, in fact, on the foyer.
Well, it's not evidence exactly, but the fact that it's circled, I'm gonna give it a try at putting it here. I'm pretty sure this is the point, but I may be jumping the gun by putting it here. Objection! Nope, seems like I did all right. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fellow like that. No, just look at this thing, please. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled, something you'd never miss. It doesn't prove that you watched it, but I mean, you can see where I'm going with this, right? Do I get points for creativity? I didn't watch that one. No, sirree. I was doing my job just like I was supposed to. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yeah, not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster." Please, I'm so tired of this. So do you admit to slacking off? You can't trip me with your Rudy Poo lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types too. I can do double duty, watching TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief.
Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off?
That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time, but that's nothing but a bald-faced lie.
Bald, you say? But I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice? And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. You claim Mr. Filch is lying about watching TV and the foyer simultaneously. Now prove it.
That I'm not so sure about. I guess just because of the shape of it, right? It's like you have to face this way. Yeah, no, obviously that. That. Yeah, that. Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch's eyes were his right ear should be, I'd think it would be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time.
Why, yes. Someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance.
I like how we're ignoring the security camera, too. Can we please pull those tapes? Or did they mysteriously get destroyed? Exactly. And that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim.
Yeah, the bag's out of the cat. I mean the other way around.
I feel bad for this guy, too. Is that a turnip or a radish box?
Order! This is enough craziness for one day, which is why I'm going to have to end this episode here. Also because I went way over time. But
finally got into another trial section. Okay, apparently the first trial was just cursed because I'm doing okay here. I was very, very worried that it was gonna be the whole game had logic that was incompatible with me, but it was much like Ace Attorney 4, where it was just at least so far, it was just the first case that was just like went right over my head, and I was floundering my way through the whole damn thing. This is going much better. Okay, grand. Next video coming on the channel is gonna be some more Kingdom Hearts. The next time we're here, we'll be carrying on with this trial, but I feel like we cut into it pretty well. I haven't even taken any damage yet. Is that right? I think so. It won't show my health right now, but hi, Trucy. Oh, Phoenix Wright's been added to the thing. Oh, and Florent Wright. Maritime 80, who's supposedly in the foyer with Filch at the time of the murder. A brilliant former defense attorney who is supposed to be in retirement. And here's Blackquill, age 28, a prosecutor and prison inmate. He has been the frickin'. Did you have a good cry or something before you came here? I think your mascara is running a bit, my guy. Prosecutor and prison inmate, he has mastered the use of psychological manipulation in courtroom battles. Anyway, I love the way this trial proceeding is heating up so far, because I'm winning. So I can't wait for the next episode of this. And with that, I'm going to hold things off here. It's so cool that because we're playing as Apollo, we have all the stuff from Ace Attorney 4, like the music and Ella. But interesting that the hawk is blocking our perception skill. Think it'll block Athena's mood matrix as well? I wonder. Thank you so very much for coming around to this episode of Dual Destinies that was slightly longer than I meant it to be. Had a great time. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. It's going well. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace. Chamber 2. Right, so probably. Let's check the other one. Chamber 6. It's melting my brain. And drawing a map would be absolutely useless too. It's like 5 different elevations.